The UK Wild Otter Trust have just completed their Otter Rehabilitation Centre based here in North Devon. The charity works across the whole of the UK, and founder Dave Webb joins us this morning. Dave, are you there?
Yeah, morning, Laura.
Morning. So thank you for coming on and chatting with us. I know we've spoken before, but if you wouldn't mind, remind us what the centre does and how many otters that you can care for.
So our role is that we take in and care for orphaned or injured otters, whether it be cubs or adults. The centre that we're at the moment has just been completed, but last Thursday marked its first year anniversary. And we saw a huge upturn in numbers that we had in. So last year we had 32 in and released 26, I think it was. Currently have 4 with us at the moment, and since January this year we've already released 16, so it's been a busy sort of period, really.
It has. So we must have spoken a year ago then when you were starting the work on the rehabilitation centre, and it's come a long way since then.
Oh, it has, yeah. I mean, we've now got 19 enclosures, 2 specific weighing rooms, a cub hospital, and an indoor monitoring room as well. So yes, it's been busy. It's been a lot of work. Volunteers have worked very, very hard.
Yeah.
We've achieved a lot in a short time, really.
Well, this is a national charity, the UK Wild Otter Trust. Why is it based here in North Devon?
It's primarily because it's where I live.
I love that. I knew you were going to say that. Just easy.
It wouldn't be a lot good having it in Bristol, really. It'd be a bit awkward, but yeah. So that's the main reason. But of course, North Devon is home to Tarka the otter.
Yeah.
And we the actual site that we occupy at the moment is or was used in the original film Tarka the otter. So it's historically there's a huge link with the land that we're using. And North Devon it's just the right place for it, really.
Yeah. And so what's it like then when you get to release these otters back into the wild again? What's it like for you and your team?
It's the best bit for us because we're always mindful that we do what we do because the sole aim is to get these cubs back into the wild. The rehab process is a very long time. It can take a year or more in some cases, depending on the animal. But the end result or the end aim is always the same for every single one, is that they go back into the wild, which is where they belong. And when we take them out to those release sites and see them actually, disperse as a pure wild otter, that is the icing on the cake for us.
Yeah. Have you got any permanent residents?
We have, yeah. We've got one named Tolga, who he came from Norfolk, a serious injury to his side through a fight with another one when he was in the wild, which took quite a lot of work to get him up and running. And then we found he had an ulcerated eye, so that had to be operated on. So, of course, with all the handling and the anaesthetics, he just simply became more reliant on humans. And we did aim on putting him out into the wild. Yeah. So he was in the release pen or in the rehabilitation release pens at one stage, but out of the 32 we had, there was only one that we ever saw, and it was him. So he was very nosy, always interested in voices, always, slightest little sound, he would be out and see what was going on.
Yeah.
So it was always a concern, and we wouldn't release, for ethical reasons, an imprinted otter into the wild because it wouldn't survive.
Sounds like he's part of the team now, anyway.
Oh yeah, he is. He's quite a character. Yeah. He's just over a year old, I guess now. And who knows? In a few years' time, he may well change that attitude completely and suddenly decide, actually, I don't like these people anymore, and become wild. In which case, if he does, we will look at releasing him. But for the time being, he'll stay with us.
Yeah. So, I mean, we need to remember, don't we, that this is a charity, isn't it? So do you have many volunteers that work there?
We've got a good core of probably 7 or 8. They don't all do the same day, obviously.
Yeah.
They've all got different skills. One's a carpenter who's very good. We've got ex-BT workers. We've got ex-detectives. Is that
in case the otters are naughty or they need to make a phone call? It's handy to have them around.
Well, the volunteers think it's probably for me, not the otters. But So we got a good spectrum of knowledge and skill bases, which is really good.
Yeah. Do you look for more volunteers, or are you closed at the moment? For that?
No, we do. Yeah, I mean, there's always stuff to do. I mean, if you imagine, we're on a 2-acre site with 19 odd enclosures and hospitals and stuff like that. The whole site's primarily made of wood and mesh, but of course, all the wood needs a rich bit like painting the Forth Road Bridge. When we get to the far end and we finish, we've got to start at the beginning again. So, We're always looking for people that's happy to come out and paint, or even cut grass, trim, stuff like that. General upkeep, any maintenance skills, anything really. So you could always get in touch with us via the website.
Wonderful. I mean, and it sounds like there's a lot going on there, and it's quite a big concern. Does this worry you in the respect of fuel prices increasing, energy prices increasing? We're heading into the winter months, and you've got to keep working, haven't you? Are you worried about this sort of thing?
It's always a worry because when I set this up, one of my prime focuses was that nobody in the charity would get paid a penny and nobody take any expenses, which we don't. Yeah. It is purely so when people donate 10 quid, probably 12 quid get spent on the Otters. Yeah. And that's how I want it run, and that's how it will be run. And so we've been here about a year. When we first came in, our electric bill, as an example, was 57 quid a month. That's now gone up to 149. So and that's only running essentially what is 5 freezers, and of course that's going to rise. So it's always a concern, but we try and keep some money in the reserve. Where suddenly if it does start getting tight, we can actually say, well, okay, we've got 6 months worth here that we can use if we have to, and then hopefully get some funding in. But funding is all, and times are hard at the moment, and we're very aware of that. So, asking people to give us money is always a sort of double-edged sword for me. But that's literally how we survive. We survive totally on donations.
Of course. So people are listening to this at the moment, and they either want to volunteer their time or their services, or indeed donate to the cause. How can people support the UK Wild Otter Trust and find out more?
So we've got a website, which is www.ukwildottertrust.org, and the first page on that, there's a donate button, so that's the easy section. Our email address is otters@ukwot.org, and that email will come straight through to me. So if there's anybody out there who wants to volunteer or think they've got something that they can do to help us, just send me an email, and then we'll get that replied to, and go from there.
Wonderful. Thank you for your time today, and congratulations to you and the team for all the work that you do.
Well, that's no problem, Laura. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dave. Keep in touch. Let us know how the Otters are, won't you? Come back
Will
on.
do, yeah, sure.
Wonderful.
We're loving North Devon. This